title of Human Rights Situation in Pakistan. The term human rights is vast in its entirety. It starts from the safety and security in person by the states. And states do protect human rights through effective measures of legislation and law enforcement. It is generally believed that every person is equal before the law, and without guarantee of that equality, no human rights are protected or promoted. Most of the people may think that human rights are may not be as universal as it is also considered, or as it is enshrined in the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights. However, since all the states are the members of the international governing body of the United Nations organization, it is the responsibility of each state to rectify international conventions on human rights, and particularly the 30 paragraphs should be made part of curriculum in their respective jurisdictions. For instance, without educating a child that he or she is not superior or inferior on the basis of gender, we cannot have a generation with equal sense of humanity among the different genders in the society. Similarly, without educating right to play and free education, we cannot help promoting all these rights. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, now straight to the topic, the state of human rights in Pakistan. I would say that, unfortunately, since its inception, the Pakistani state has treated its population as slaves to the feudal lords. Later, that ownership of governing the country was taken over by the military, and that class has badly suppressed all forms of human rights, from education to health, from right to play to freedom of assembly and association in their country. In that suffocated environment, a generation produced with such ideals that democracy or a civilian government is not capable to meet the socio-economic and socio-political challenges of that country. Interestingly, an Indian-centric foreign policy was implemented. Under that policy, a culture of declaring people as Indian agents was promoted by the state in its respective institutions. Ironically, two former elected prime ministers could not escape of that allegation. As I said in the beginning, that without the rule of law or the guarantee by the law, no human rights can be protected, and Pakistan has badly failed in legal perspective. In all civilian courts, the sovereignty belongs to the people, but in Pakistan, it belongs to Allah Almighty, who, in my view, has nothing to do with the contemporary politics or inflation in the country. So the first one was to use religion as a weapon to press human rights, and second was Indian-centric foreign policy. These policies have not only curtailed fundamental rights, but inflicted irreparable loss to the entire region. Due to these policies, Afghanistan has suffered. Due to these policies, the people of state of Jammu and Kashmir has been suffering since 1947 and onward. Due to these policies, two disputed regions of Kashmir are socially, economically, politically, and constitutionally marginalized. Mr. Chairman, due to these policies, the people of former East Pakistan and today's Bangladesh got freedom, and people of Balochistan and Sindh are striving for their right to rule and ownership on their natural resources, same like we Kashmiri people are demanding. It will be a food for thought to share with you that, at one hand, Pakistan claims in Article 257 in its constitution provisions relating to the state of Jammu and Kashmir that when the people of the state of Jammu and Kashmir decide to accede to Pakistan, the relationship between Pakistan and the state shall be determined in accordance with the wishes of the people of the state. And on the other, it has imposed Act 1974, which bars fundamental rights of pro-Kashmiri political parties in Article 7, titled Freedom of Association. Subject to this Act, every state subject shall have the right to form association or unions, subject any reasonable restrictions imposed by the law in the interest of morality or public order. And in its section 2, in its subsection 2, they again elaborated that no person or political party in Azad Jammu and Kashmir shall be permitted to propagate against or to take part in activities prejudicial or detrimental to the ideology of state accession to Pakistan. And here the situation is, all those people who claim unification and independence of the former princely state do not disturb public order at any cost. So the first clause, the clause 7, is also contrary to the actions and activities of pro-Kashmiri political parties in Pakistani occupied Kashmir, I would say. This clause is very much contrary to Pakistan's national and international claims that she is a moral supporter of Kashmiri people. In last 67 years of independence, Pakistan has always used religion as a weapon and terrorism as a foreign policy tool to grab more and more money from the West. In this way, the state institutions have left their track to follow the law, but to promote personal liking and disliking to advance their vested interest. Today, the people have been ignored to provide essential health care, secondary level education, free for all, have playground with each school, college and at university level, right to job, and in case of unemployment, enough social security or unemployment allowance for a reasonable and respectable life. Today, the situation of human rights in Pakistan is very much bleak. The minorities are targeted by the religious armed groups, patronized by the state institutions. That has seen in the daylight assassination of former governor of Punjab, Mr. Salman Taseer, who was killed by his own security guard, Mr. Shahbaz Bhatti, Minister for Minorities Affairs, and countless Christians, Hindus, Shias, and Ahmadi community, including nationalist leaders in Pakistani occupied Kashmir, as my previous speakers have said, like Arif Shahid, who was the chairman of All Parties National Alliance, the amalgam of 14 nationalist parties in Pakistani occupied Kashmir, a young innocent Kashmiri guy, Mr. Ali Murtaza, and Moiz Akhtar, who was killed in Rawalpindi, Pakistan. Another interesting narrative which is not discussed yet. I have been following some TV reports and news and articles from various Kashmiri leaders that India and Pakistan are not responsible of our suffering today. In fact, it is Kashmiris who are more responsible. I would ask them, okay, maybe they would have invited Mughals. To get rid of Mughals' tyrannical rule in Kashmir, they invited Afghans. Okay, and after that, maybe they have invited Sikh army to get some relief. But they did not invite Pakistan in 1947. No Kashmiri, even from the valley or from Jammu or from Ladakh or from Gilgit or from POK, today's so-called Kashmir, asked Pakistan to invade into their territory. So I strongly reject and condemn this type of notions and this kind of things which are actually giving a certificate to the occupying forces that, okay, you are good, but we are bad. We are not bad. In 1947, we had the aspirations to live in a free country. Our Maharaja signed a standstill agreement with the Governor General of Pakistan, who was the founder of Pakistan as well. And that standstill agreement was not respected. From the Pakistani side, our state was invaded by the tribals. So, having regard of this aegis of today's seminar, I would urge on all the participants to strive for the human rights education so that we could better educate our present and future generations in a humanist manner. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much, Jamil Maqsood sir.